Hi everyone and welcome to Jupyter Notebook Introductory section. Jupyter Notebook is a modern day tool that allows data scientists to record their complete analysis similar to the way scientists use. It is an open source web application that you can use to create and share documents that contain live code, equations, visualizations and text. It is maintained by the people at Project Jupyter. The Jupyter project was developed as a part of IPython project. The IPython project was used to provide interactive online access to Python. Over time, it became useful to interact with other data analysis tools. Jupyter is derived from the combination of Julia, Python, and R languages. Jupyter runs code in many programming languages. Python is the requirement for installing Jupyter Notebook. The purpose of Jupyter Notebook is to provide a more accessible interface for code used in digitally supported research. The two main components of the Jupyter Notebook are the kernels and the dashboard. A kernel is a program that runs and introspects the user code. The Jupyter Notebook app has a kernel for Python code, but there are also other kernels available for other programming languages. The dashboard not only shows you the notebook documents that you have made, and it can also be used to manage the kernels. You can see which ones are running. If necessary, you can shut down them. Now let's discuss how we can download it. There are few ways to download the Jupyter Notebook. One is by installing Conda distribution. Also one can do with pip installation method. If you want to install it using pip, I will give you this website link in the description so you can go to it. In the official website, they strongly recommend installing Python and Jupyter using Anaconda distribution, which includes Python, Jupyter and commonly used packages. Personally, I would suggest to download the Anaconda Navigator, which is a desktop GUI. In Anaconda, we can launch applications and easily manage Conda packages without the need to use line commands. Now, what you have to do is first you need to go to the anaconda.org website and go to the Anaconda Navigator. As you can see, we have Conda installations for various OS. Once you download and install the Anaconda Navigator, it looks something like this. As you can see here, we have Jupyter Lab, Jupyter Notebook, PyCharm, Qt console, which is a IPython console. We have Gluis, Orange, and we have RStudio. When you launch the Anaconda Navigator, you can see there are many options available for launching Python and R instances. By definition, a Jupyter Notebook is fundamentally a JSON file with a number of annotations. It has three main parts: metadata, disk, the notebook cell. Now we will launch the Jupyter Notebook and let's try to understand its interface. As you can see, Jupyter on the left as expected, which acts like a button to go to home like YouTube and Instagram. When you click on it, you will directly come to the home page. As you can see, there are three tabs displayed, which are the files, running and clusters. What we will do is we will discuss and understand all of these three and their importance. Now the file tab. File tab shows the files in the directory. So as you can see, we have so many files. Here, the running tab presents the underscreen of the currently running process and the notebook. The drop-down list for the terminals and the notebooks are populated with their running numbers. So as you can see, we do not have any running terminals of notebooks. And the cluster tab presents underscreen to display the list of clusters available. And on the top of the last tab, there is a checkbox, drop-down menu and a home button. Checkbox is used to toggle all the items list. We can move or delete the selected ones. And we can select some of the ones, or we can select all, that's your wish. Now the drop down menu shows a list of options available, which are folders, all notebooks, runnings and files. Folders will select all the folders in the display. All notebooks will select all the notebooks in the display. You can duplicate it, or you can move it, or you can view and edit it. Now the running section shows any running scripts available. As you can see, we have 0 running scripts. Now the file section will select the files in the display and update that count accordingly. Now if we discuss the typical workflow of a Jupyter Notebook, first of all, create a notebook for your project or for your data analysis. Add your analysis step coding and the output, and surround your analysis with organization and presentation markdown to communicate an entire story. Now, if we talk about security, Jupyter Notebooks are created in order to be shared with in many cases over the internet. However, Jupyter Notebook can execute arbitrary code and generate arbitrary code. This can be a problem if the malicious aspects have placed in the notebook. In the top right corner of the screen, there are three buttons: Upload, New, and the Refresh button. Upload option is used to upload any file from your local computer. If you click the New option, we can see there are Python 3, text file, folder, and terminal. When we click on Python 3, it will create a new Python 3 notebook. When we click on text file, it will create a new text file. Similarly, when we click on folder, it will create a new folder named Untitled. We can change the name of it later. The refresh button is used to refresh the dashboard. Now, let's execute some Python code and understand the notebook in a better way. Now what you need to do is, under the New button, you need to select the Python 3, and what it will do is, it will open a new notebook. Here, the new window shows an empty cell to enter the Python code. You know the notebook is untitled. Let's give it the name to it. I'm going to name it as Jupyter Intro. As you can see, we renamed it. If you look at the extension of our notebook, it is .ipynb, which is an IPython notebook. Here in Jupyter Notebook, every Python file stores in the form of .ipynb. This file will store in your local directory as well. When you go to a local directory, we can find this file. Here you can see we have Jupyter Intro and some other files. Now if you see Jupyter Intro in your basic text editor, we can see some metadata of the file. Now let's get back to the notebook and type some code here. To run this code, we need to click Run icon. And you can see here the code is run, or you can use the command Shift+Enter to run the cell. Now using the variables from the first line, if you type a command line here and run it, the code will be executed and we will get the output. Note that Jupyter also color codes your Python code just like decent editor would. Jupyter keeps track of the output last generated in the saved version of the file, and it is saved checkpoints. Now if you want to rerun your cells, using the rerun or run all, output will be generated and save it by autosave, and there will be an increment in the cell number. As you can see, if you rerun this, it changes. So what Jupyter does is, it keeps a track of latest version of each cell. If you want to insert any heading, what we need to do is, we need to change the type of cell. There are two ways we can do that. One way is go to cell on the top and go to the cell type menu, and we need to select the markdown. Other way is, we need to click this drop down menu and we need to select heading. Let me do it for you. On the top, we have some options like file, where we can create a new notebook, or you can open a notebook, or you can make a copy of it, or you can rename or save it. If you go to the edit option, here we can cut cells, copy or paste them. We can paste cells above, paste cells below, or we can replace or delete cells. If you go to the view option, here we can see some options like toggle header, toggle toolbar, toggle line numbers, etc. Similarly, we can explore the other options too. That's it for the video guys. If you like this video, please do like, share, comment and subscribe to our channel, and stay tuned for more updates. Thank you, signing off.